We're here.
Jono.
Molzo.
It's a different spot.
We're at computers.
Now, we're going to do some time travel. You ready?
Okay, ready?
So last week,
Yep.
you remember last week?
Yep.
That was 5 minutes ago.
That was 5 minutes ago.
5 minutes ago. So, we just did this tuning stuff.
Yep. And
Yeah.
we've gone and changed our
Yes,
shirts.
we got changed.
Just to make it look different.
And we stank. Yeah.
It's true.
So, we tuned the drum.
Yep.
We saw that. From there, we walked over the kit. We recorded some drum stuff.
That one?
Yeah. And now we're going to go through and we're going to do some EQing of that exact same snare drum with the exact same tuning.
We're going to get that snare drum sounding studio fit.
Yeah.
So.
Nice and fit.
No.
Yeah.
Fit. We love fit.
How about we start with the drums?
Okay.
Yeah, they can watch the video.
We'll cut to that.
Yeah, and then we'll get underway.
Okay, we'll see you in a minute. Bye-bye.
Bye! We're back.
Hey,
Jono.
not too bad, all right?
Yeah.
So you heard it just then with just the snare, and then you heard it with like the EQ of the rest of the kit, and like it comes up not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we want it to sit nice in that mix.
That's
we want
right.
that snare to be nice and fat. PHAT fat.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Super fat. So
That one.
what would normally be the steps? Because this is our tutorial. What would you put on a snare drum in general? What stuff?
What I would look at first of all is EQ.
Cool.
Then I would look at compression.
Okay.
And then after that, depending on what kind of equipment you're using and how good it is, whether you're running to like noise shelf with all that, noise hiss, that's the one I'm looking for.
Yeah.
The hiss and all
Hiss
that kind of stuff.
and then...
well, not a hiss remover. We're going to look at a gate.
Yes.
Because snare drums, gates, they kind of work hand in hand.
Yep.
So on this channel today, I'm going to use EQ, compressor, gate. Then I'm going to send it from there to a bus channel. Mm-hmm. The bus channel is another group that we're sending it to. That group will be the snare group, which I'm going to add a couple of reverbs to. So there's presets within Logic already built that I'm just going to use everything preset of Logic today. So if you're pulling, your mix into Logic, and
You should be able to get this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You should be able to get very similar kind of sounds with using the stock plugins. There's no extra VST or AE plugins. It's all stock standard and
No
off you go.
paid stuff.
Not paid stuff for
That's right.
just Logic you got to pay for.
That's right. That's right. Now,
Yes.
Logic's a pretty good deal at the moment,
Yeah.
isn't it?
So if you're a student,
Yeah, not for everybody, but if you're a student,
yeah, if you're paying for it outright, it's the standard price, whatever that is.
$330
There you go.
for everybody. But if you're a
A
student...
student, you get the bundle, which is like $299. That's Australian.
Yeah.
So $299 Australian dollars. You get
Logic and
Final Cut.
And Final Cut.
Motion,
Yeah.
Main Stage, and what are the other ones in there?
Yeah.
Um,
It's crazy.
It's like 4 or 5 things
it's
you get in there.
$1,000 worth of gear for students for
yeah.
$300.
It's
So,
incredible.
Yeah, it's really good. If you're a student, it's probably worth seeing if you can save some money and picking it up.
And the loop manager in here is amazing. So if you
Yeah.
want to create your own little tracks to play guitar along to, sing along to, drum along to, like I do, it's got a bunch of free stuff in there, which is really good.
Yeah.
Anyways, Logic, it's
How about-
great. We're gonna look at the snare EQ now.
Yeah, let's make it start.
So straight
let's
up
go.
here, EQ. This one.
EQ.
Boom. I'm gonna before I do that, I'm just gonna move this over here. I'm gonna quickly loop. Here's my snare. I'm gonna solo it. Nope. That soloed everything.
Yes.
I'm gonna click on the snare channel.
Yes, so what you heard is sort of cheating, isn't it? Yeah, because we're getting reverb through the other mics. We're getting all the stuff that from overheads. It actually didn't sound too bad.
No, it was all right, but
Yeah.
the snare was quite thin.
We should do a quick
But-
comparison, hey?
all right,
So,
let's just have a.
The snare
I'll loop
with
it.
all the other stuff.
Oh, over here.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Let's turn that off. All right, so here we
Oh,
go.
no. From here, with everything else unsoloed.
Okay, all right.
Because that adds in all the other effects that you
Yes,
can hear.
all right. So here is the snare with everything on.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Ready?
That's titty, but not too bad.
You can hear reverb still. It's
I
not
was
bad.
really surprised until we clicked the solo button.
Here we go. Solo button.
This is what you would expect.
Yes, that is a great sounding snare.
So yes, the snare drum may have sounded good. It's because of all the other mics we have hooked up with all the other effects.
All right, so
solo, that's important.
Solo, we're going to just work on this one. Now, it's important to mention, I did just say I'm going to use one EQ, a compressor, and a gate. There's multiple EQs here. You can stack EQs, however, you kind of have to know what you're doing. Otherwise, you can run into the problem with really bad hissing and it's a big complication.
It's very complicated and it gets harder and harder the more you add.
One EQ, one compressor.
You can see all the other effects that we're running. This is our drum kit setup normally. This
is what we use for covers and whatnot.
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
So what do you do first?
So first thing I'm going to listen for is I'm going to put this bad boy on the end here.
That's a shelf.
A low end shelf. I'm just going to go to 90. That's like a safe bet.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it like that. That's not very aggressive at the moment. That's what we call aggressive. That's boosting your low end, but it's quite a steep shelf. We're just going to go for a nice
curve.
Nice curve. All right. And then I'm going to find this one down here around the 200s because I believe I'm going to need to take it up here, but I usually use like these two bands right here to get a bit of snap and crackle out of the top of my snare drum. So I'm going to use this one right here.
Some snare crackle.
The snare crackle. Yeah. I'm going to go to roughly, 500 because 500 is always not the nicest to have in a snare drum.
Yeah.
So I'm going to push.
That's a good guess.
I'm going to push. Yeah. Well, like 600, you get your woody tone, and some people kind of boost a little bit. But 500, between 4 and 500, is that really? It doesn't really sit nicely in any mix.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
Now, before we do it, we talked about this on our other videos.
Yes.
So if you've watched our 10-minute video or, I don't know, other stuff we've done, we're looking to find the bad sound and then remove it to the right amount.
So I'm going to boost first.
Yeah.
And then find what I go, hey, that's not so good. And then I'm going to pull it out.
Yes. Right? And ears are king. Every single time.
Ears.
Listening, most important. Even if it looks weird, listen.
All right, here we go. Oh.
That bit.
Right there. Look, between 4 and 500, like, I've done this a fair bit, and I've always gone, depending on what snare I'm using, but generally like a 5-inch or 5.5-inch deep snare, 14-inch maple snare, like, between your 4 and 500, you're generally going to find this frequency is tuned at, like, a higher level of tuning, a higher pitch, sorry, not level, higher pitch of tuning. You're going to find this really, that sound right there.
The MIDI bit.
That bit. So I've got it boosted 6.4 dB to find it where it's kind of like, I'm not going to reduce it that much. I'm going to go maybe 4 dB at the moment.
Yeah.
See if I need to pull any more out after that. But we'll go that and see what it sounds like. So here we go.
Go.
It just smooths it out a little bit, you know? So, I mean, at the moment, I'm going to go with that. I'm just going to make this because I like even numbers.
Yes.
Actually, just for...
Jono has a problem.
I think I'm going to go -5 because it's an even number there. Yeah. It just smooths it out a little bit. All right. So the next part that I want to look for is I want some nice snap on the top, and I want some nice lows that are going to round out the whole snare sound.
Keep the presence there.
Yeah. So I'm going to bring this roughly. I'm not going to have a cue that's
super
big.
wide.
We're going to bring that down. Let's start with 1 as well. It's 1 and 1 makes 2. 1, 2. Every sound engineer's favorite numbers. Anyways, I'm going to start up at not that high. Let's go 4K and let's see, and we'll do the same kind of process. We'll boost. I'm actually wanting to boost at the moment.
You're looking for the good sound.
The snap that I want. So here we go. You hear that? That gives it a nice little on the top, but I still need something a little bit meaty, like around the...
I think another one.
Like 2K maybe?
Yeah.
Around there, somewhere there. Look at that cue. Logic wants me to boost everything.
Yes.
So I'm going to make that smaller. I'm going to go maybe 1.5 for this one because I want it to be a bit more direct. Actually, maybe even smaller. Let's go 1.8 because I'm looking for a specific frequency here. Here we go. Just see that I made it +5 because it had to be an even number. I'm going to take this one up to 7 because I just want to hear what it's going to sound like. I'm just going to boost that. All right, so I think that's actually going to sound not too bad once I push a little bit down here. So I'm going to find... I think I'm going to start around 150 hertz because that's kind of like...
The yellow dot? Yeah.
The yellow dot... the yellow dot is 150 hertz.
Uh-huh.
No, the yellow dot with a super wide cue. Once again, we're going to go a little bit smaller. Let's just go for a 1. 150 odd is like for my 6.5 inch deep snare is kind of where I get a bit of my punch from. But this one being a smaller snare, shallow snare, I might need to go higher yet. But anyways, we'll have a listen.
Yeah,
might be good. Anyways, here we go. All right, I don't mind that.
Yeah.
It kind of rounds out
the
roundness of it all. Now, the thing you got to think about with the compressor that we're going to add in a minute too, it's going to kind of amplify anything that's really low in volume in your mix and anything that's really high. It's going to kind of bring it into a nice even mix. So we're going to actually start to hear a little bit more of that in our mix, I think. And the snap is going to get a little bit more present too.
Yeah.
But at the moment, I'm worried about this one. I'm just going to widen the cue a little bit. I'm going to take Logic's advice.
Get wide.
And I'm going to take this out to -6. Let's have a listen to that now. Just kind of accentuates the snap in the top.
Completely different
word. And it gives us a nice punch in the bottom.
Yeah.
You can muck around with your shelf a bit more and get it a bit more aggressive, but at this stage, I think that's pretty nice.
Now, a couple of things to note before we disappear. Yeah. Right, we're not necessarily mixing for the snare by itself.
No.
So you could make this sound better now, but it's not going to fit into the mix as well.
We're mixing this to fit with the overall mix of the kit that's it's being played around as well.
Yep.
So there's a frequency that the kit has used up with all the toms and everything else going on. And when I'm just playing kick and snare and hats, this has to fill up the frequency between where the kick drum low end fits and it's click in the top, the hi-hats, and there's that gap in the middle. This has to sit perfectly in there. So that's what we're mixing this for. Anyways. We've got this. Do you want to have a quick listen with it?
Yeah, I think an A-B sounds good.
All right, here we go. Without first. So it adds a bit of presence. Yeah. So it's nice.
It's a nice start.
Now we're not gonna boost our channel volume and get it louder and all that kind of thing. We're gonna muck around with our compressor and see if we can push it a little bit hotter at the moment than what we've got it. So we're just going for compressor. It is the standard, this one that comes with Logic.
You like the blue one?
Okay, here's the funny thing. The blue one and this one right here are my two favorites.
Okay, I almost always use the red one.
Yeah, so the red one is like, it is great. Like straight ahead, it's a fantastic one. It's a nice all-rounded sounding compressor.
Yeah.
However, I use this on my kick, my toms, my overheads, all that kind of stuff. If I'm doing outside drumming, I go to this one a lot as well.
Yeah.
But for snare drums,
you like the blue one?
The blue one just seems to.
Go.
It's. Yeah. Anyways, you'll hear it in a second.
I'm ready to be impressed.
You'll hear it in a second. All right. Now, people, I always go for a 4:2 ratio.
Jono, what's the ratio?
Ratio is a fraction of a number.
It is. Sort of.
I don't know.
You don't know.
No, okay, I know what the ratio does here, but
Numbers,
right?
This channel in
I'm
numbers.
not good with numbers. But anyways, look, the ratio 4:2 was something that someone showed me a long time ago. It's always worked nice on a snare drum. But the ratio kind of depends where you set it.
Yeah.
Like every, say at 4:2, every, it will just go nice and easy, 4:1. Every 4 dB that the signal goes over the threshold, that this is our threshold here, it will increase the output by 1 dB. So we want to make sure that our ratio is set correctly for the instrument or the vocal or whatever that we're using.
So this is sort of how aggressive it's going to push the compressor.
That's right. Yeah. So I've just always gone to 4:2. I have tried with other different ratios, but this one time that I've seen it, and I can't remember where I've seen it, but it's always been 4:2.
And it works.
It has just worked for me, and I've just stuck with it. So, I mean, anyone that has anything better ideas about snare compressors, I would love to hear your input.
Yes.
But at the moment, it works for what we're doing.
Yeah.
So, anyways, it's a good starting point. If you have no idea, 4:2.
4:2.
Now, the threshold. At the moment, I'm going to push play. You're going to see this little needle on the screen. It's not even going to move. It's going to just kind of do its thing. It might just
sit there.
All right, here we go. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to adjust the threshold and go lower. So minus however much we need to. But we have to be careful because the lower we go, at a certain point, it'll sound great. And beyond that, it's just going to squash it. It's going to sound horrible.
Yeah. You get hiss issues.
Yeah, and you're just amplifying your output, and it's not good. Anyways, you'll hear that. We'll demonstrate it right now. Here we go.
Okay, I'm ready. Tiny bounce.
Molzo, I went from -20 to -30. What's the first thing you heard in the monitors happen?
I'm not sitting in front of them, so you check your
The first thing I heard was the volume of the hiss go from...
Yes. Yeah.
The hiss got louder, so our output amplitude is greater now, right? Mm-hmm. So straight away, the thing that comes to me, I have to use a noise gate to get rid of that because it's not going to sit nicely in my mix.
Yeah.
So
you sort of just have to ignore that for the moment and we'll fix it later.
You know, if the higher end preamp that you're using, the higher end mics and all that kind of stuff, the less noise ratio you're going to run into. However, if you're running a budget interface, budget mics, there are ways that you can still get rid of this hiss.
Also, though, like setting up your gain correctly
for
your recording at the beginning is just so important.
Yeah.
It can really sort of shoot yourself in the foot if
you
mess it up.
So we always aim between -9, -6.
Yep.
That's always a great little...
Safe area.
Yeah. And if you do get a little bit more aggressive on the drum and it pops above -6, at least you're not running into channel distortion and that kind of thing. So...
do you think 30 is enough?
I want to go beyond just to see what it does.
Yeah.
It kind of fattened up the sound a bit.
That's right. I think we can push it a bit further.
All right, here we go. Ready? Okay. At 35, I think we've just gone past where it sounds nice. So I'm going to keep going.
Okay,
just to see what it
Let's
does.
have a listen.
I think like 34, 33, 34, maybe 32, around that area.
Yeah.
But we'll come back and have a look at that. So here we go. We're going to go further than that, and you're going to hear the sound just squash, and it's not going to sound nice. Here we go.
Yeah.
So the sound just gets horrible, and the hiss is horrendous.
That's right.
Like, okay, if you can't hear this on your phone, you need to plug in some headphones now. Don't do it while you're on a bus or a train or something. Do it in a nice, quiet environment like the library or at your home or something like that.
You may not hear the same thing that we're hearing on the
in front of the studio monitors. And we're in a nice, controlled sound-controlled room. So, I'm going to go take this straight back because I can't handle that sound. I'm going to go to 32, and we're going to try 32, 33, 34, and then we're going to pick a happy medium, which is probably going to be 33 because it's in the middle of 32 and 34. So can do numbers. Here we go. Ready? Okay. 34 is just pushing the output a little bit, isn't it? Yeah. I think 33 is where it sounded the nicest.
I agree.
Let's have one more listen. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed, straight away we've got the snap in the top that's really nice.
That's right.
And then we've got the bottom end that is now
It's
very
much
accentuated.
Fuller, full of sound.
So the first hit, obviously I didn't hit that snare drum right, but every hit after that hit, the snit.
You're snitting.
Snitting. I can do words apparently. But every hit after the first one, you can hear how full the sound is.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, I think that's great. 33 is a winner.
All right, we're going to leave it there.
Okay.
The one thing I can't handle is the hiss.
Yes.
We're just going to pull up the noise gate. So if you're looking for it, it's under dynamics.
That's right, last one.
Last one, noise gate. The compressor is also found in there, and the EQ is the channel EQ.
Yep.
That's all the three that we're using, but I've got them up here because look at it.
We use them all the time. Yeah.
Apparently I was using a fuzz wire, probably for other fun stuff.
Giggles.
Yeah. Anyways.
Fuzzy.
Noise gate.
Okay.
Let's have a listen to what the standard Logic sounds like.
Yeah.
Here we go. Ready? Oh, that's very quick. Yeah.
I cut you off.
Yeah, your no sound go through.
Chop.
Okay, so that's too much. So we're gonna go.
Yeah.
Let's drop it back to maybe 70, and we'll have a listen from here. And 56. That's 20 dB. That should be enough. We can always adjust it. Let's have a listen and see what we do. One thing I'm gonna quickly change is the look ahead. So it's gonna find any peaks and anything like that and analyze it before it gets to it and open the gate correctly and close it using these little
We'll play with them in a tick.
So we're just gonna go 20 just so it helps a little bit. Here we go.
It is still there.
It's still there.
Yeah,
I think it's the hiss is sitting in there for too long.
Yes.
So I might go down to 65.
Yeah.
Try there. Here we go. All right, I'm going to push it a little bit more, and then I'm going to do something else right now. So I'm going to put the attack up to about, I made 30.
Yeah.
Let's go with that. That's half of 60, and it just seems like a logical number to go with at the moment.
Decibels do not relate to milliseconds.
It doesn't.
No.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
You just like clean numbers.
Yes, I'm just going for clean numbers,
Yes.
always. As you see, everything clean. 60, 100,
right.
20, minus 3, but we're going to leave that right there.
Yeah.
Okay. The hold, I'm going to maybe take that up to 150.
Yeah, I feel like it's cutting off the ring of the drum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll get it to hold and the release on it as well.
Oh, yeah, sorry, release.
The release on it will go maybe 40 milliseconds. We'll just try it there.
40.6, mate. Suffer. Oh, he knows how to fix them. All right.
Oh, it doesn't let me do 40. I just typed 40 on there. Anyways, Logic, you win. I just want to hear it now. Here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, that's not
I'm
too
actually going to go like 35.
Okay.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
So now when I'm thinking about when I'm going to add reverb to this later, even though it's still cutting off quite sharp, the reverb will help the sound.
It should clean everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna go with that for the moment.
Maybe before or after?
Okay. Without it.
That's very good.
So you're running into a nice clean sound on your drum mix. So let's leave that there for the moment. I am now going to send it to the bus channel that we talked about originally.
You're going to put them on the bus.
I'm going to put them on the bus.
And send them for a trip.
Over to another channel.
Yes.
So I'm going to go. I've set this up on bus group 11. You can set it up on any bus that you like.
Yeah.
Apparently, all the way up to 256.
That's right, because of IT numbers.
That's right.
Yes.
So we're going to go with bus group 11 because I've got it. It's there.
Yeah. So if you haven't used buses before, this is essentially grouping stuff so you can handle it together.
Yeah.
So I assume, and I haven't looked, but you've probably got a bus group for your entire kit.
Yeah.
Where you could do some finalizing stuff.
Yeah, so as you can see right here on the screen, I've got a channel EQ, a limiter on it, a compressor.
Yeah.
I'm just fattening, reducing things, getting rid of other frequencies, and the
cleaning up
overall
the whole
sound. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before it goes to the output.
Why then are we running into a bus instead of not doing it over on the other channel?
On the other channel. Okay. So what I want to do right now is I could put EQ on, not EQ, sorry, effects, reverbs and stuff. At the moment, as you can see, I'm universally across the kick drum, snare drum, and all the other channels using just a generic room EQ.
Yeah.
Now, I can up and down that on here, which is fine, and that works great for each individual channel. However, with the snare, I wanna enhance it slightly more than everything else. And I don't want the kick drum to have like a gated reverb and it to sound like it's in a cathedral. I want the kick drum to be punchy and in the mix, but I want the snare to have not just your generic room EQ. I've actually got set up on 2 extra buses here, which are presets within Logic. So what it is pulling up a bus channel. It's easy as going.
Yeah, we'll show you in a tick. Yeah. But like the separating it makes sense just from like a professional standpoint.
Yeah.
If you do this every single time and you're doing a top and a bottom mic, then you can mix the whole snare
100%.
At once.
So on our actual cover kit and all that, we're using a snare bottom mic. I actually run another channel right next to here. It's got the phase inverted and all that, and it sounds great mixed together, but when I put them onto the snare bus channel, I can then EQ their sounds together. So they sound good individually, but together they sound great, but then EQing that again, oh my goodness. Yeah. And then, so you can come up with some great combinations. And then rather than trying to put, effects on my snare top and then effects on my snare bottom, I'm just grouping the effects on the snare group.
Yeah.
So, So we're going to do that just for the principle that that's how I always run it.
Yeah.
So
it's just good practice.
Yeah. So getting back to, like, I jumped the gun a minute ago. I'm using 2 effects for the snare. Yep. They're located in Logic. All you have to do is pull up a bus channel. And then in there, down the bottom here, you've got multi-effects, blah, blah, blah. I want reverb because that's what I'm looking for.
That's right.
I went down, started with small, large, medium spaces, and I went, gated reverbs always on snares. Went across there, studio room snare. We're in a studio. Boom, should be a winner.
Yeah.
So, anyways, So you
didn't look for ages.
No,
and it was good.
That was it.
That's it.
It's all stock standard. The other one that I choose.
You choose.
Oh, good English.
You choose all the time.
Choose.
Even
Another one.
Choose. Okay.
Another one that I chose was a plate reverb. So a gated reverb is short. A plate reverb, it just hangs on a little bit longer.
Yeah. So one part of this is responsible for your initial attack reverb.
Yep.
And then sustain.
Yeah, that's it. So I'm going to go my bus channels. I'm going to put the gated one on the first one. Then I'm going to put the plate on the second one. Yep. So I'm only going to let you hear. So I'll turn this one off. We're only hearing at the moment on this snare drum with all our channel presets ready to go, the gated snare drum reverb. So here we go.
I'm ready. Yeah, cool. So it handles the attack.
Let me make it an even number. There it is. -18. So it's like straight up. The attack is nice, but you can hear it cut off quite quickly. It's actually cutting off quicker than the noise gate from our snare. Yeah. So in that instance, I'm just going to push this to 58 and see if that makes a difference. Ooh.
There you go.
You know what I have to do? I have to go out my comfort zone and go to 57. Here we go. One more. Yay! Back in my comfort zone. Here we go.
Yeah, cool.
All right, so I'm happy with that.
I'm too.
So now I'm going to turn that one off, and I'm going to let you hear what the plate reverb here sounds like now. Ready? So... So I'm going to hear what that one sounds like now, mixed in with the other one.
Yeah.
So it just adds a tail to the initial attack.
That's right. And I think the second reverb does need a little bit more at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here
combination, good.
Have a listen.
Woo!
I'm actually going to push this one just a little bit.
Yeah.
Might just go to 18.
I mean, for a start, that was a pretty good guess.
That's not too bad. I'm actually happy with that.
Yeah, I'm really happy.
So, without all this now, do we want to have a quick listen?
Sure.
Or do you want to?
No. Let's turn it all off and do a comparison. We'll layer everything back in.
Yeah. So we'll start with EQ first, compressor, noise gate, then our reverbs. All right. Here we go. Ready?
Oh!
So from beginning to there, you know, where we got duck to now this snare drum that's
so
pretty
much presence,
and it's forward
nice
in your
crack.
mix, you know.
Yeah.
It's but not only the other thing, adding the reverb and everything, it's forward, but it's just so rounded in everything that it is. All right, do we want to have a listen?
Yeah,
to it with the kit?
Well, you haven't touched your main fader yet, so mixing
with the kit
is going to be important.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so now I'm still soloed here, but check this out. If I solo my snare group, oh my goodness, it solos it too. It's like they're connected. All right.
With a bus.
With a bus. All right, from the beginning.
Okay,
ready?
Here we go.
So there are two ways I could mix this. Now, I wanted just to see really quickly by pushing the channel fader, what actually I'm actually doing then as well is amplifying and increasing the reverbs that I've played with so far. So you would have heard the level got louder, but also the reverbs got bigger. So I'm going to bring this back down to 0, and I'm going to push the bus group now. So here we go, same place. So see how the snare got bigger in the mix, but my reverbs didn't take off.
That's right.
Like the first time. So it's really important to remember when you're sending something to a bus channel, every time you affect it here, it's affecting not only what you've got in the mix of your bus channel, it's amplifying everything that you've already fixed. So you need to be happy with what you're doing and then mix from your bus channel to the output. So handy tip there.
Cool. This sounds great, mate.
Shall we swap to the kit and let them hear the
well,
whole thing?
let's just go through a list.
We're going to go through things fast.
So if you're doing this at home, first thing, solo, loop. Now we start with EQ.
EQ first.
You're gonna add what you need. Take out what you don't. Compressor. And then we're doing our noise gate. And then we're running through a bus into. You said we start with a gate reverb. And then do a plate reverb. Sounds great, mate. Like, and that's not too hard.
Now listen, everything that we're looking at is stock standard to Logic.
That's
so
right.
you can take these same presets, apply them to your snare drum, and have a great starting point. I can guarantee you it's not going to sound like that because the tuning's not going to be the same.
That's right.
The mics, the interface,
room,
everything. So you will still need to play with your sound. Don't expect to put these presets on and go, yay, I've got that. No, it won't happen.
That's right. Ears matter.
That's right. Like Molzo said from the beginning, doesn't matter what it looks like as long as it sounds good and you're listening.
That's right. Now, we talked about this a while ago, but I'm going to say it again. As much as you watched our video, this doesn't end your sound mixing experience.
No.
You need to practice
That's
this.
right.
So the more you listen, the more you run through and set this up, the better your ear is going to get at picking the frequencies you want and don't want. So maybe do this at home, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Record your own snare. Go step by step. You can follow along with what we did, but make sure that you're picking things that match your room and your setup. Do it a couple of times, and you get more and more used to this and become more and more proficient.
I keep playing with it constantly. I mean,
right.
I've been doing it for such a long time.
Every second week I come in and Jono's like, Molzo, I got a new snare mix.
It's true.
It's true.
Because I changed the tuning of my snare.
That's right.
Different applications and what we're doing, I'm going, this is going to work with that, have a listen. So it's always important to make sure if you're changing your tuning, if you've changed your EQ, it's not always going to be change your snare drum. You have to be playing with all your settings all the time.
Practice makes perfect.
Well,
head over to the kit. We're going to finish up there. Guys, like, subscribe, tick all the boxes. We will see you next week for Happy Friday. Enjoy the kit.
Take care. Bye-bye.